Frank and I joined the department at the same year. In fact, this is a picture with Frank and I in it of the running team back when we joined. Frank was a very good firefighter, good to work with, no nonsense, just do the job, no ranting and raving, get the job done and done right.
I always admired Frank as a firefighter because a lot of times he was in a leadership role just because he was the volunteer fire marshal when I joined, and a lot of times he was the only leadership person that would be around on a daytime call.
That's my name, making my rounds all over town, putting out old flames. Everybody like to have a...
I remember when Frank was promoted to the fire marshal position. I acted as his assistant, volunteer position. He was a paid position and I was assistant, and he would take me on fire investigations, and he taught me a lot about fire investigations, and I really appreciated that. Frank and I served on the running team together along with lots of other people, including late Jim Hinkle, and really enjoyed doing that. We competed all over the state of Colorado, and one year we took the convention. We were the state champions, and I remember celebrating quite a bit. I remember when Frank left Golden Fire Department, and I was very disheartened, happy for him, but sad for the fire department. We definitely lost a good firefighter when he went career. After leaving the Golden Fire Department in 1981, Frank worked for Steamboat Springs Fire Department in the Fire Prevention Bureau for a year and a half. He then returned to Golden in late 1982, and he rejoined the Golden Fire Department as a volunteer and worked in a family-owned business. In 1985, he was hired by the Castlewood Fire Department, which eventually became South Metro. His tenure with South Metro included project manager, remodeling several stations, and the building of one. Also, Frank planned and coordinated emergency services for an event even bigger than Woodstock, when the Pope visited Colorado for World Youth Day in 1993.
Okay, this guy right here is Frank. This was taken back in 1886. As you can tell, it is Frank. It's right after he had a haircut. He didn't want to get his head burned, so he had to put that funny looking cap on.
Working with Frank, this has been awesome. You know, Frank has a way of getting you to confess to things that you really don't want to. He would come into my office and every morning and stand there and look at me and it's like, Long, do you have anything to tell me? And at first, I started rattling through my brain and everything, and you know, and by the end of the conversation, I confessed to the Lindbergh kidnappings and everything else. But then I learned that no, I'm not going to do that. He's just tricking me. So what I did then, he's like, "Do you have anything to tell me?" I'm like, "I love you," and it would make him uncomfortable, and he'd walk away and leave me alone.
Working for Chief Young can be pretty intimidating. He's the type of guy you don't want to be on his wrong side, and you don't know whether you are until you see that smile that you can get out of him every once in a while.
Really, my thoughts have been, if I disappoint Frank Young, if I disappoint Chief Young, is in the back of my mind. So it's always wanting to do better because he holds himself to such a high standard.
What's it like working with you, Frankie? Is a piece of cake. You've been a very good chief officer for me, and I appreciate all the things that you've shown me for the hiring process, and hopefully it can help Chief Johnson move forward with that. But I appreciate everything you've done for the fire department when it comes to the hiring process.
What's it like working for Frank Young? You know, Chief Young has an interesting sense of humor, so it's always enjoyable to work with Chief Young. And I think that Chief Young, from the time we got hired here, I think I've heard him every year say that he's retiring next year.
Working with Frank, somebody gets sent to their office every single day.
And working with Frank means finding out the most useless information.
And then he loves to tell us how much he hates us all.
I would describe working with Chief Young from, we haven't worked side by side. I've seen the work that he has done, and from what he has done, it's incredible. I mean, from building where we're at, the training center, to the Pepsi Center behind you, to everything that exists here. I think he's done, he's put a period after everything he's done. Most people in life don't put periods on some of their projects. And with what he's done here, it's an absolute exclamation point period. And it's beautiful. It's really nice what he's done.
Who? Oh, Frank. Frank is like a Tootsie Pop. So he wants everybody to think he's got this hard, crusty outer shell, but once you get past that outer shell, he's just a big, soft, gooey mess.
Chief Young. Very quiet, but has a sixth sense of humor that he only lets so many people know about. And he knows what he's talking about. It's filth, total filth.
Frank Young, I've always thought he was an SOB. Short, old, and balding.
So, Chief Young reminds me of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. I'd ask him in the morning, "How you doing this morning, Frank?" And he'd be like, "Doesn't matter." It's like Eeyore, "Here's your tail, Eeyore." Doesn't matter, just gonna fall off anyway.
Always there whenever we needed him. He was able to put us first as much as he could, and you always felt that, and you always felt the love and the dedication to us, and that we were important, but you knew that being a fireman was very close to his heart as well.
I think it was a good mixture of both, that he incorporated family into fire stuff that was fun. I remember going to Sunday morning cleanups, Tuesday night trainings, being in the parades for Buffalo Bill Days. So even though it was still a big part of his life, he made sure to keep family involved as well.
Yeah, he kind of was a pain in the ass. When Sarah and I first came to him and told him that we were going to get married, he didn't speak to me for like 2 months, I think, something like that. He never showed any real anger, but you could just tell he kind of caught him off guard with that.
Always an adventure. Always a good time to have Papa around.
I'm glad I had a grandfather that is a fighter. Well, he thinks he's funny when other people think he's not. Yeah, he gets a hose. He hoses the fire off. He builds a fence so no rattlesnakes could get in. Well, sometimes he says jokes that only Deegan can know, only the older people understand it, and all the other young people think it's really weird. He always has a positive attitude. He's an awesome grandpa to have.
Chief, stay loose and adjust.
Chief, all I can say is enjoy your retirement and don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Well, Chief, I heard a little rumor that you were going to retire when your Twinkie was out of date, so congratulations. Terry, sorry. Have a happy retirement.
It's time to eat your Twinkie, Frank.
Frank, since you left Golden Fire Department, I want to let you know that now it's tough to get back in, but we might even have a spot for you.
So, Terry, our only advice to you is we hope that you are prepared for the Friday margarita that will last all week.
Congratulations, you've earned it. Enjoy your retirement. I can't believe Terry finally let you retire, which are your words, actually, not mine. So.
Oh, Frank, your job's just beginning now. You're retired, you're going to be busy all the time.
Hey, congratulations, Frank. I think I have a little bit of sense of what it's like to want to serve something bigger than yourself. You obviously provided phenomenal support to the communities over the years, and just congratulations and thank you for what you've done.
I love you, Dad. I'm proud of you.
What a long, strange trip it's been. What in the world ever became of Sweet Jane? She lost her spot.